Doing fine right now. Holland has averaging about a 10-minute wait. Everybody's on time inside the WCBS Transit Center. Todd Glickman's forecast from the WCBS Weather Center.
Todd tells us that we have a guaranteed high of 82 degrees today. Possible shower early this evening, otherwise considerable cloudiness. Lows 65 to 70 in the city and along the coast. Lows in the 60s inland. Right now, partly sunny and 79 degrees in Midtown Manhattan. Good afternoon. I'm Brad Wheelis.
Good afternoon. I'm Ed Gullo. Some top stories coming up. Of course, the body of Princess Diana back in Britain, delivered by her former husband, the Prince of Wales, and her two sisters. On the street and on the internet, people are cursing out even legitimate photojournalists for the death. An attorney for the Fayeed family, her companion killed in the crash, says someone's going to get sued, that the family formally warned the media to stay away just weeks ago. And the mayor says when the time is right, the city will hold a memorial to the woman he called a tireless worker for many charities in the city. Yanks lead Montreal, Mets lead Baltimore, Giants lead Philly, Jets in Seattle ready to play.
Our 30 years of all-news experience means you get the tri-state area's best news coverage on WCBS New York. WCBS News Radio 88.
WCBS News Time, 4 o'clock.
CBS News. This is Chris Stanley. The flag-draped coffin containing the body of Princess Diana, killed in an overnight car crash in Paris, arrived back in Britain about 2 hours ago. CBS News correspondent Adam Rayfield is live with us in London. He describes the sad return.
It was the last homecoming. Princess Diana's body returned with her ex-husband, Prince Charles, and as ever, the TV cameras and the public followed her every foot of the way. It was a simple ceremony, a slow march by an honor guard transferring her coffin to a hearse. Prime Minister Tony Blair was there to show the nation's respect and sadness at the loss of their fallen princess. It's not yet known if her funeral will be public or private, or when it will take place. Chris?
Police have reportedly seized about 20 rolls of film from the photographers on motorcycles who were chasing Diana's Mercedes when it crashed in that Paris roadway tunnel along the Seine River in Paris, killing Diana and her boyfriend Dodi Fayeed and the car's driver. They're looking for clues to the absolute cause of the crash. Witnesses say the pack of motorcycles swarmed the car just as it entered the tunnel. The 7 celebrity photographers are still being held by police for questioning. The possibility they contributed to Diana's death has put the celebrity press under a sudden unflattering microscope. But one freelance photographer in New York, Russell Turiak, says even if the paparazzi were a factor in the crash, they were doing a job the public appears to want them to do.
The public is interested. If nobody was interested, there'd be no money there and nobody would do it. So if the paparazzi are to blame, the public's interest is equally to blame.
A lawyer for the family of Dodi Fayeed says he's been instructed to file a civil lawsuit as soon as a judicial inquiry into the case is opened. He didn't say who would be the target of the suit, but he did say that Dodi and his father, Mohammed Al-Fayeed, had been expressing concern about what he called the hounding of the couple by the press before the accident happened. Americans have reacted, as the rest of the world has, in stunned disbelief that Diana is suddenly gone. President Clinton offered the first family's condolences. He said their hearts went out especially to Diana's children. In Washington, D.C., Marianne Jennings with CBS affiliate WTOP says people have been leaving items at the gates of the British Embassy.
Everything from professional bouquets of lilies and roses to a single rose from a backyard. There are hundreds of cards already, candles that are lit, and one of the most poignant things I think I have seen in that whole shrine is a single Queen of Hearts turned up and standing by itself.
Tributes and words of comfort are pouring forth from around the world. In Calcutta, 87-year-old Mother Teresa, who met Diana 4 times, most recently in New York in June, said Diana, quote, helped me help the poor, and that's the most beautiful thing. More from Christopher Thomas in New Delhi.
Mother Teresa described Princess Diana as an ordinary housewife, a compliment in the Indian context meant to convey her view that the princess was more than a symbol of glamour. She revealed that the princess had contributed money over the past 5 years to help the charities work with the poor. Mother Teresa also announced 2 days of special prayers for the princess.
This is CBS News.
1958, the U.S. launches its first satellite, Explorer 1. But it would take another 11 years to put a man on the moon. Great achievements don't happen overnight. They require long-term vision. The same can be said of investing. Over the long term, global diversification can strengthen an investment portfolio. At GT Global, we offer a wide selection of mutual funds for investors who think long term. including one that invests in blue-chip stocks and high-grade bonds from Europe, Asia, Australia, New Zealand, and North America. Ask your financial advisor about the GT Global Growth and Income Fund, or call 1-800-GT-GLOBAL. We'll send you a prospectus with more complete information, including charges, expenses, and the risks related to global investing, such as political and currency risk. Read it carefully before investing. Call your financial advisor, or 1-800-GT-GLOBAL. Distributed by GT Global Incorporated.
An Amtrak train has collided with a tractor-trailer in Madera County in Central California. The Highway Patrol says one person in the truck was killed. No other word yet on injuries or the cause of the accident. An estimated 6.4 million Americans get a pay raise tomorrow when the federal hourly minimum wage goes up 40 cents to $5.15 an hour. The New York Times has gotten a look at a new immigration study sponsored by both the U.S. and Mexican governments, which shows far fewer illegal Mexican workers are living in the U.S. than some politicians have been suggesting. California Governor Pete Wilson and former GOP presidential candidate Pat Buchanan have both said they believe 1 million illegals have been coming into the U.S. annually during the 90s. The study says the real number is about 1/10 of that, about 105,000 a year. A boom of blizzard babies has hit Washington state just 9 months after the first in a long series of winter storms swept through the eastern and central parts of it. One doctor at a medical center in Yakima says maternity wards should be breaking records this month. Chris Stanley, CBS News.
New York joins the rest of the world in mourning Princess of Wales, Diana. Good afternoon, I'm Ed Gullo in the WCBS Weather Center. Todd Glickman's forecast: a shower possible early tonight, then otherwise cloudy in the low and the mid-60s. Tomorrow we'll have a clear early morning, a bright, warm day with a high in the mid-80s. Right now it's 79 and partly sunny. WCBS News time is 4:05. There are flowers and there are notes to the woman fondly known as Princess Di, being left outside the British consulate here in Manhattan, where WCBS reporter Kathy Carpin is stationed. Kathy, tell us about that.
Well, Ed, flowers, candles, pictures of Princess Diana, and emotional notes adorn the outside of the British consulate here on 3rd Avenue as a steady stream of mourners stop, stare at the collection of items. Some cry, others shake their heads, some just stare in quietude. Among those here paying their respects, Paul, who is British and is here on holiday, as they say. He is still in total shock over this. I asked him, what was it about Diana that everyone loved?
She cared. She touched people that other people wouldn't touch. She cared about people that other people didn't care about. She wanted to be an ambassador of the people. She was an ambassador of the people. She was just great. She was lovely.
Mixed reaction on the paparazzi who may have caused the fatal accident. One woman said, this is not the time to blame. Another man said, let's wait till all the facts are in. Still others told me clearly, in this case, the paparazzi went too far. Ed?
Okay, thank you. WCBS reporter Kathy Carpin outside the British consulate here in Manhattan. Now, WCBS reporter Lou Miliano is on his way to London. He was a bureau chief there for a network for quite a few years, and he's on his way to follow the events of the sad days ahead in Britain and the funeral of Princess Diana. New York City was graced by the princess on many occasions and is planning to honor her memory sometime soon, says the mayor.
At the appropriate time, we will do something, but I think we should first let the focus be on what's going on in England and on the funeral services.
Just last June, the princess was here in the city. She met with Mother Teresa, as you heard on CBS News earlier, at a convent for the Order of Nuns who serve the sick and the poor. Diana's gowns were auctioned off for charity in June. And last week, hundreds of American women entered the Dress to Die For sweepstakes. A cable TV channel held the contest to win a $40,000 black silk gown worn by Diana during her 1992 visit to India. Mayor Giuliani says that tabloid, sensational celebrity press used to dog Jackie Kennedy, too, and he says there ought to be some kind of restraints. He said it gets dangerous, not just for the celebrities, but for other people around them, and sometimes for the paparazzi themselves. Still to come on WCBS News Radio 88, one on a bike, one walking. Both are neck and neck in the polls in Jersey. WCBS News Time, 4:08. Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 8s. In the traffic center, Ray Rossi.
And Ed, I want to take you back to this Turnpike Route 80 situation. Just a couple of things have cropped up in the last half hour. Northbound 95 local lanes as you try and make your way over to the George Washington Bridge. This is a stalled tractor trailer that's right at that Route 4 overpass as you try and make your way to Fort Lee. Again, it's the northbound 95 local lanes. If you're coming off the George Washington Bridge, staying with 95, eventually past Route 80, then staying 95 local lane southbound, that's a stalled bus that's sitting off to the side. There are a bunch of kids right on the shoulder, so you'll have to just exercise a little bit of caution against southbound 95 locals right after you split from Route 80. Throgsneck into Queens, that'll cost you about 20 minutes. That right now is the busiest of the Upper East River crossings. Whitestone and Triborough are reportedly doing fine. Inbound at the George, still about a 15 to 20 minute wait for the upper level, 5 barely for the lower level. Looking good right now at the Lincoln Tunnel. The Holland Tunnel has about a 5 to 10 minute wait on the inbound side. Also very slow outbound Holland from Canal Street. If you can, let's leave Manhattan. Let's do the Lincoln Tunnel. That will cost you hardly any time at all. Everybody's on time, though, inside the WCBS Transit Center. Todd Glickman's got your forecast from the WCBS Weather Center.
During this month of August, we have had about 3.2 inches of rain here in New York, about 0.6 under the average for a typical August in New York. It looks like September will get off to a dry start tomorrow, but we could see some showers here by Wednesday. Until then, thickening clouds this afternoon at or a little bit above the 80-degree mark. A late-day shower in a few spots, 65 to 70 overnight. Tomorrow, by mid-morning, bright sun will be developing. If you're heading to a barbecue or the beach, you'll find it a nice afternoon for Labor Day. Highs in the mid-80s, little cooler south coastal locations. And then look for temperatures between 80 and 85 with increasing cloudiness on Tuesday.
Todd Glickman in the Weather Center. A 79 degrees right now, 79 and partly sunny skies with relative humidity at 62%, south winds at 9 miles an hour, and the barometer's holding steady at 30.07 inches. WCBS News Radio 88 is the only radio station that guarantees the weather. That's why when you think of weather, think of us first. WCBS News Time is 4:10.
Dial 0 to use your calling card, and you could be in for a shock when you get the bill. $10 a minute. Grr. But SNET has music to soothe the savage beast. 1-800-555-5321. Ooh, pretty catchy number. Sure is. And each time you use it, you'll get great savings from SNET. 1-800-555-5321. And each time you're automatically entered in a sweepstakes to win a trip anywhere in the world. Anywhere? Yep, because an SNET all-distance calling card lets you call anywhere. Anywhere? What was that number again? 1-800-555-5321. The SNET all-distance calling card. SNET, we go beyond the call. Sweepstakes ending 9/5/97. Open to SNET Connecticut residential customers as of 6/4/97. No purchase or call necessary. See June bill for rules, details, and alternative entry method, or send a postcard with name and address to SNET Sweepstakes, Box 9158, Medford, New York, 11763.
The biking, rowing, and politicking goes on in Jersey this Labor Day weekend. Governor Whitman on her mountain bike, gone more than 75, almost 100 miles by now, stopping all the way to shake hands and chat with folks, while Democratic challenger Jim McGreevey walks the shore from Beach Haven to Atlantic City today. They're racing, not on land, but in the polls. The Asbury Park Press shows a statistical dead heat right now between Whitman and McGreevey. McGreevey supporters took faith in that as proof that the state senator and Woodbridge mayor, not exactly a household name in the state of New Jersey, can defeat Governor Whitman. It's possible. Whitman campaign manager Tom Wilson says the poll is not accurate because it sampled too many Democrats. WCBS News Time is 4:12.
4 out of 10 men begin to lose their hair by the time they are just 20 years old. Don't wait until your hair loss becomes noticeable and affects your self-esteem. You can do something about it now, but you've got to take the first step. Call me, Dean Roberts. I'm the owner of the Manny Roberts Hair Replacement Studio. We can change your life forever. We've done it for thousands of men and women in our 30 years in business. Our exclusive single hair integration system will restore your original hairline. My process is non-surgical and is not a bulky hair weave. It will look and feel like your own hair because it will be your own hair. Engage in any activity this season with complete confidence. Call me, Dean Roberts, at 1-800-456-HAIR. 1-800-456-HAIR for a free brochure. Remember, we specialize in hairline restoration through our single hair integration system. Call today and start on the road to a new future. We'll take you back to your future. 1-800-456-HAIR. 1-800-456-HAIR. 4, 5, 6 hair.
What was that? The gears? There it is again. What are those noises?
Your car is saying, "Get me to Lee Miles."
Lee Miles?
For over 40 years, Lee Miles has been repairing and replacing transmissions. Lee Miles' free 11-point checkup service will determine if your car has a transmission problem.
But my husband had to buy a foreign car.
No problem. Lee Miles specializes in both foreign and domestic transmissions, and they honor most extended warranties.
You know, my husband never listens to me. Maybe now he'll listen to his car.
Get me to Lee Miles. Listen to your car and take care of your transmission before a little problem becomes a big one. Bring it to Lee Miles, the most trusted name in transmissions. For the Lee Miles Transmission Center nearest you, check the yellow pages or call 1-800-LEE-MILES. That's 1-800-LEE-MILES.
Partly sunny and 79. We'll have the 5-day forecast in, about 3 minutes.
You're listening to WCBS News Radio 88.
Good afternoon, I'm Ed Gullo. Here's a quick check on what's happening. The body of Princess Di, carried by a British honor guard into a hearse, brought back to Britain by her former husband, Charles, and Di's 2 sisters. Diana's death has moved people to look past the almost daily tabloid headlines of her romances and take stock of the good work she'd tried to do in her short life. Outside the British consulate here in Manhattan, a lot of floral arrangements left on the sidewalk as a memorial, and some notes. "You were princess to the world," one of them says. Just ahead, we'll have a CBS News special report, continuing coverage of the death of Diana. And the death in life, I should say. WCBS News time is 4:15 now. It's time for sports with a report on the U.S. Open, sponsored by your Toyota dealers. But, you know, a rookie with the Giants is a hometown hero this opening day. Let's go to John Marino.
Okay, Ed, his name is Sam Garnes. He's a 5th-round draft choice out of Cincinnati. The Giants starting strong safety, electrifying touchdown interception return for him. Garnes grew up playing ball at DeWitt Clinton in the Bronx and on the fields of Yonkers, too. Andy DiNardo, he turned that crowd on.
Yeah, he certainly did. The Eagles had pulled within 24-17 shortly after we last spoke, and a Rodney Peete to Kevin Turner 14-yard touchdown pass, but that's when the Eagles looked like they were going in again, but Sam Garnes stepped in front of one from Rodney Peete, ran it back 97 yards the other way to ignite the crowd, as you said, and give the Giants a 31-17 lead, practically sealing it. There's less than a minute to go, and the Giants had that 31-17 lead. Another rookie, Tiki Barber, has a touchdown run here for the Giants, and Dave Brown has a touchdown run and a pass of his own, John.
Okay, opening day for Jim Fossil, successful, and it looks like the Giants should win. Jets at the Seahawks, opening day for Bill Parcells. Couple minutes in, no score yet at the Kingdome. NFL winners so far today, Dallas over Pittsburgh 37-7. New England beat San Diego 41-7. Miami 16, the Colts 10. The Bills fell to the Vikings 34-13, and the Bengals knocked off Arizona 24-21. The U.S. Open update again. What's happening at Ingles?
Well, other than that bad-looking pink shirt that he's wearing, Andre Agassi is playing very well. Took the first 2 sets from Mark Woodford at 2. They're on serve. Woodford up 4-3 third set, but Agassi looking very sharp. Other men's action today. Michael Chang easily won the first set of his match. Winners getting in the round of 16, Marcelo Rios, Patrick Rafter, and Cedric Pioline. Women's side, good day for Monica Seles. Came back from that first set. She lost to Mary Pierce 6-1 to win in 3. Venus Williams, a 17-year-old American, also she's through to the quarterfinals, as is Cedrine Testude. Back to you, John.
Okay, thank you, Ed Ingles. At the stadium, Don Mattingly Day going pretty well for the Yankees so far. Bottom 7, Andy Pettit looking for his 16th. Yankees up 2-0. Bernie Williams with a home run. And top 9 now in Baltimore. Mets trying to make it 2 out of 3 against the Orioles. They're still up 4-1. A home run for Baltimore's B.J. Surhoff to get the Orioles on the board. Mets home runs today from Gilkey and Husky. I'm John Marino, News Radio 88 Sports. WCBS News Time, 4:17.
Fall may be just around the corner, but the cool breezes this Labor Day are coming from the cool deals at your Toyota dealer. This Labor Day weekend is your only chance to grab low financing deals like 5.8% APR financing for 48 months on Corolla. This weekend only, 5.8% financing for 48 months on any 97 Corolla. Plus, save $1,200 with factory-to-dealer incentives. It's year-end savings you've been waiting for. You won't find a better time to buy. 5.8% financing plus $1,200 savings. Don't miss these 97 Toyota clearance deals. 5.8% financing ends Monday. Grab your Corolla deal now at your Toyota dealer this Labor Day weekend.
5.8 annual percentage rate on all new 97 Corollas. Term not to exceed 48 months with approved credit through Toyota Motor Credit Corporation. 48 monthly payments of $23.45 for $1,000 borrowed. Dealer participation may affect final negotiated price. Must take delivery by September 2nd, 1997.
Catch the breeze to your local Toyota dealer during Labor Day weekend for super cool deals on Corolla and the full line of quality cars and trucks. Toyota, we love what you do for us. In the WCBS Traffic Center now, Ray Russell.
And it's sports guy John Merengue saying the Giant game just about to end. CBS cellmate Vinny the limo driver saying he would think that it did by the looks of the turnpike right now as folks flocking to the western spur of the turnpike from Route 3. It's going to start getting busy shortly with lots of happy Giant fans. Maybe what you want to do is take it on down Route 21 to avoid some of the southbound delays on the turnpike. Taking a look right now, the George Washington Bridge inbound at the moment doing fine. If it's 15 minutes, it's a lot. That's for the upper level. Right now, it's minor for the lower level. Lincoln Tunnel also doing fine, maybe about 5 minutes. But, of course, this in advance of the hordes that'll be leaving Giant Stadium will all be building. Holland Tunnel, that's about 5 to 10 minutes. Outbound, that's a very slow ride. That's about a 20-minute ride off Canal Street, and it's eased considerably. Westbound side of the Cross Bronx, this was an accident that was cleared by Jerome Avenue. For the moment, everybody on time inside the WCBS Transit Center. Todd Glickman's forecast next from the WCBS Weather Center.
As we close the record book on the month of August, we see it has been a fairly decent month, especially the weekends. Nearly every one has featured fine weather here in New York, and the good weather in general continuing through tomorrow. One little fly in the ointment, some cloudiness, and maybe a shower in a few spots this evening or early tonight. It'll be in the low 80s this afternoon, 65 to 70 overnight, heading for the mid-80s tomorrow afternoon with bright sunshine. Increasing cloudiness on Tuesday, 80 to 85. And the 5-day outlook, showers likely for Wednesday, 75 to 80. A little cooler, it'll be cloudy on Thursday.
Todd Glickman in the WCBS Weather Center. We have partly sunny skies and 79 degrees now in New York City. Traffic and weather together round the clock on the 8s.
This is a CBS News special report. I'm Bill Whitney. Funeral arrangements for Princess Diana will be announced tomorrow, and the fact that the announcement will come from Buckingham Palace signals that it will be a royal funeral, even though Diana technically lost her royal status when she divorced Prince Charles. He accompanied her body on the flight from Paris. The coffin was draped with a royal flag and carried to the hearse by members of the Queen's Color Guard. Reportedly, French police have seized about 20 rolls of film from the photographers who chased Diana's car on motorcycles, but pictures of the crash victims are available, according to David Perel of the National Enquirer.
Paparazzi involved in this senseless tragedy took pictures of the accident. Those pictures are now on the world market. They've been offered to us for $250,000.
But Perel says his paper isn't buying.
It's one thing to have Princess Di on a yacht with Dodi Fayeed waving to the photographers and take their pictures. It's quite another to engage in a 100-mile-an-hour chase.
Dodi Fayeed's body has also been flown to Britain for burial. In Paris, a lawyer for Fayeed's father says he's been instructed to file a lawsuit. Diana's brother, Earl Spencer, is blaming the paparazzi for his sister's fate.
I always believed the press would kill her in the end. But not even I could imagine that they would take such a direct hand in her death, as seems to be the case.
Mitchell Fink of People magazine acknowledges that Princess Diana's picture on the cover boosted circulation, but he predicts the paparazzi will be forced to change.
I think that you're going to see changes in how these people deal with the press and how the press deals with them, and you're going to see a tremendous amount of remorse.
All-day mourners were drawn to Buckingham Palace.
We loved this. She was such a breath of fresh air in the royal family.
She had the ability across the world to touch everybody's hearts.
I feel as if I've lost a friend today.
This is a CBS News special report. I'm Bill Whitney.
Some of us are good at making decisions. For others, well...
The brown socks or the blue socks? Brown socks or blue socks? Brown, blue, brown, blue.
To those those of you in this group, you may find Greenpoint Bank's Fix or Fly mortgage offer.
Fix or fly? You mean there's some kind of decision here?
Uh-huh. Close a no-doc mortgage with Greenpoint.
No doc?
No income or employment checks.
Wow, that's easy.
Then get either a $250 Home Depot gift certificate or an American Airlines round-trip ticket to anywhere in the continental U.S. or Canada.
Okay, no doc mortgage, and it's either fix or fly. Fix or fly. Fix, fly, fix.
Easy, big fella. First, just get the mortgage.
Okay, where can I get more info?
Your Greenpoint branch, or your mortgage broker, or 1-888-GET-NO-DOC.
But,
Look, just write it all down and think about it later.
Fine, got something to write with.
You want a pencil or a pen? Greenpoint's Fix or Fly mortgage offer. Significant restrictions apply. See our newspaper ad or visit a branch for details. Equal housing lender.
WCBS News Time 4:23. Well, we've been getting some calls here at News Radio 88 from some of our listeners wondering if it's correct to refer to Princess Diana or even Princess of Wales Diana, since she is now divorced from she had been divorced from the Prince of Wales. Well, the way this works is the British reporters we know are referring to her as Princess and Princess of Wales. She cannot be referred to any longer as Her Royal Highness because she is no longer officially with that title, but having once been the Princess of Wales, she is entitled to be called Princess, just as President Ford, for instance, is entitled to be called President Ford, or Governor Cuomo, as Governor Cuomo, even if they're not presently in office. They once held that office, and that title remains as a sign of respect. Now, the death of the princess's companion, Dodi Fayeed, what effect will it have on his family's business? It should not be a major effect. His father, a self-made billionaire, owns the fabled Harrods department store of London and the Hotel Ritz, where the two dined last night before their deaths. Dodi Fayeed was renowned for his real estate. He married American socialite Suzanne Gregard in 1987, but that lasted only about 8 months. In Beverly Hills, he leased a series of mansions, anywhere from $20,000 a month to $35,000 a month. Was sued repeatedly for leaving landlords in the lurch, but writer Dominic Dunn, who knew Fayeed during his producing days in Hollywood, said he was grief-stricken because whatever else the man was, he says he was a very nice guy, something very gentle about him, loved to surround himself with celebrities. It's 79 degrees and partly sunny, and we'll have a WCBS Business Report for you with Jenny Casola in just a moment.
Do you have a cholesterol problem? The newest, most advanced treatments for adults and children are available at Rogerson Institute's Maurice R. Greenberg Lipid Control Center in New York. You receive evaluation and treatment by experienced physicians and individualized dietary instruction by registered dietitians, all experts in cholesterol, other lipid disorders, and atherosclerosis. For patients with a rare genetic disorder with cholesterol 500 and over, which results in heart disease at a young age, Rogerson's Lipid Center now offers a newly FDA-approved effective therapy. Rogerson pioneered this treatment, available in the New York area only at Rogerson, affiliated with New York Cornell Medical Center. For help with all cholesterol or lipid problems, call toll-free 1-888-505-1244. The Rogerson Institute Lipid Control Center, 1-888-505-1244.
WCBS News Time, 4:25.
You ain't seen nothing yet. The global economy is in the middle of a long boom that has years to go. That's the word from two futurists interviewed by this week's Barron's. Wired Magazine's Peter Leiden and economist Peter Schwartz say the boom was kicked off by the spread of the computer and the breakup of AT&T, and it has led to huge increases in productivity and kept the lid on inflation. At the same time, the emerging middle class into Asia alone is bringing hundreds of millions of new consumers into the picture every few years. And there will be plenty of new gadgets to buy. Watch for a car that generates its own electricity on board. And within the next quarter of a century, you may have a furnace in your house that essentially will be a little power plant fueled by hydrogen. And don't worry that financing this new technology will push interest rates higher. The money will come from domestic and foreign savings. The rest of the world, particularly Japan, is keenly interested in investing in American technological dream machines. I'm Ginny Cosola.
WCBS News Time, 4:27, and an announcement at this time, tonight's Shakespeare in Central Park production of On the Town, a great production is unfortunately sold out. I mean, you can always try to get standby tickets at the last moment. Not standby, but people who don't show up. But at this time, the people at the Shakespeare Festival would like you to know that the production tonight of On the Town is a sellout.
It's about you, your heart, and the rest of the world. You do wish is more than just how you were born. It's Torah, it's Shabbos, it's living. It's making Mount Sinai a part of each day. A lifestyle that never stops giving. Being Jewish is just the beginning.
Whoever said American Jews are vanishing must never have heard of the National Jewish Outreach Program and of 250,000 American Jews who have participated in their programs over the last 10 years. This fall, thousands more will attend high holiday beginners services designed for those who are not so high on the holidays and will learn to read Hebrew at the Hebrew Reading Crash Course. It's a growing momentum of American Jews discovering the beauty of Jewish traditions and the joy of Jewish life. Join them. Call 1-844-HEBREW. Then you'll agree that those who said the high holidays were boring and meaningless simply must have forgotten the National Jewish Outreach Program. Call 1-844-HEBREW. That's 844-HEBREW. Sponsored by the National Jewish Outreach Program.
The newest and finest in men's fall fashions are arriving daily at the House of Jacks, and many are tax-free during the Labor Day week, September 1st through the 7th. The regulations are for clothing purchases under $100, so that you won't be disappointed and can take advantage of this tax-free offer. Jacks is reducing the price on hundreds of suits, sport jackets, coats, and raincoats to just $99. Now, these are suits that sold for up to $400. For tax-free week only, they're $99. Sport jackets and raincoats that were up to $200 are now just $99 also. These are special reductions, so you can buy tax-free on just about everything in the store. You're sure to find the clothes you want at unprecedented savings during tax-free week and beyond at the House of Jacks. The store for men at Parsons Boulevard at Jewel Avenue in Queens for over 40 years. Open 7 days, free parking. Call 591-JACK, 591-JACK for a sale that lets you save 2 ways on top quality clothing, low prices, and tax-free. It's the House of Jacks. Worth the trip from anywhere. Call 591-JACK.
This report brought to you by AT&T Wireless Services. Take care of business from the road. Line up your meetings for the work week ahead with AT&T Wireless Services. It's all within your reach. AT&T.
Over in the WCBS Traffic Center, Ray Rossi.
The Happy Hordes leaving Giant Stadium on Route 3 right now are going to be clogging up the southbound Jersey Turnpike Western Spur once you get on at 16W. Also, as you come south on the Turnpike, that was a stalled bus by the Vince Lombardi service area that you're going to have to watch for. So the Western Spur may be out of your plans. I might stay with the Eastern Spur for the time being. Inbound George Washington Bridge for the moment has about a 5-minute wait. It's up to 10 minutes at the Lincoln, 5 to 10 over at the Holland. Everybody on time inside the WCBS Transit Center. Your forecast from Todd Glickman in the WCBS Weather Center.
More cloudiness than sunshine this afternoon. Temperatures a little bit above the 80-degree mark in most locations. A few communities could have a brief shower, but most of the time it will be rain-free. Overnight lows 65 to 70. Developing sunshine tomorrow, a warmer day, low to moderate levels of humidity, highs in the mid-80s, a little cooler south coast of Long Island and Connecticut.
Todd Glickman in the WCBS Weather Center, partly sunny, 79 degrees right now in New York City.
Our 3 decades of commitment to all news means you get the tri-state area's best coverage. The 30th anniversary celebration on WCBS News Radio 88.
Britain prepares for the burial of Princess Diana, the funeral. The Fayeed family prepares to sue in a big way. The president and New York City are mourning her passing. CBS News update coming up just ahead. Mayor Giuliani says the media should restrain itself in chasing celebrities. And the New Jersey governor's race seems to be a dead heat. Good afternoon. I'm Ed Gullo on WCBS News Radio 88. WCBS News Time, 4:31.
This is a CBS News special report. I'm Chris Stanley. Princess Diana has gone home to Britain for the last time. Her body in a flag-draped coffin arriving by plane at a Royal Air Force base outside London about 2.5 hours ago, some 16 hours after she died of injuries suffered in a car crash in Paris. The BBC's Paul Reynolds watched as the aircraft landed.
It was a very simple, short ceremony, but carried out with great dignity. There was no pomp. The overwhelming sentiment here, I think, was one of great sadness at a life cut short. The Prince of Wales had got off the plane with Diana's 2 sisters, and they stood there watching along with the Prime Minister, Mr. Blair, while the coffin was put in the hearse, and the hearse drove off. It was all over very, very quickly.
Buckingham Palace says funeral arrangements for the princess are expected to be announced tomorrow. And though it's by no means certain she'll be accorded a state funeral, there will be immense public pressure for her to be honored in style. Tributes from shocked dignitaries worldwide continue to pour in. UN Secretary General Kofi Annan says Diana's recent efforts in the campaign to rid the world of landmines were only one aspect of her public service.
I think it wasn't just the landmine issue. I think you have to also look back at her work on AIDS and the visits she made to trouble spots around the world and visits to hospitals.
French police have reportedly seized some 20 rolls of film shot by the 7 paparazzi who were pursuing Diana's Mercedes in a high-speed chase when the accident happened. And an unflattering spotlight has fallen on this particular segment of the media, bolstered by the words of Diana's brother, Earl Spencer.
It would appear that every proprietor and editor of every publication that has paid for intrusive and exploitative photographs of her, encouraging greedy and ruthless individuals to risk everything in pursuit of Diana's image, has blood on his hands today.
A lawyer for the family of Dodi Fayeed, Diana's boyfriend, who was also killed in the crash, says he's been instructed to prepare a civil lawsuit. No target name, but the lawyer also had unkind words for the pursuing press. And Fayeed's body is also being returned to Britain for burial. This has been a CBS News special report. I'm Chris Stanley.
WCBS News Time 4:33. Well, the great and the grassroots are paying tribute to Diana here in New York. Harper's Bazaar editor-in-chief Liz Tilberis issued a statement today praising Diana as a wonderfully supportive and close friend to her and her family, caring, compassionate in times of need. At Arthur Ashe Stadium in Queens, the U.S. Open paused for a moment of silence this afternoon, a tribute to Diana. And outside the British consulate here in Manhattan, WCBS reporter Kathy Carpin found New Yorkers and British citizens paying their respects.
As people walk by the British consulate, many stop and think, no doubt, of Diana. I can see the grief and sadness etched in their faces as they look at the many bouquets of flowers, the pictures of Diana, candles, and read the many emotional notes to the late princess. One reads, "Our beloved, irreplaceable Diana, forgive us our intrusions. You gave us so much and we took more than our share. You will remain forever in our hearts and prayers. Rest peacefully. Keep watch over your adoring sons."
WCBS reporter Kathy Carpin. Mayor Giuliani says at times being with Diana, the woman who used part of her time and influence to try to end the use of anti-personnel mines around the world that were maiming children and farmers, men and women alike, that being with her, the mayor said, was sometimes like being in a war zone with the media around her.
Sometimes what we're protecting them from is being harassed by these photographers, which actually can get physically dangerous at times. I've seen them banging into each other, banging up against poles. I've actually stopped them sometimes from running around in a frenzy and just slowed things down and said, let's stop and let's be careful, somebody's going to get hurt here.
President Clinton mourned the death of Princess Diana and lauded her life's work.
We admired her work for children, for people with AIDS, for the cause of ending the scourge of landmines in the world, and for her love for her children, William and Harry. And I know that this is a very difficult time for millions of people in the United Kingdom who are deeply shocked and grieving. And the American people send their condolences to all of them.
So far, just one sentiment out of sync with the rest of the world seems to be from Iran. Iranian television reporting the death of the princess described her as one of the elements of moral disgrace in the British court. WCBS News Time, 4:36. Former Surgeon General C. Everett Koop, in an impromptu meeting on the island of Martha's Vineyard, where President Clinton is vacationing today, urged the president to be tough with the tobacco companies in any settlement to resolve class action lawsuits against the industry for damage to smokers. The bodies of 2 women, one of them from New Jersey, and 3 children were recovered this morning from the waters of Chesapeake Bay. Police say their car went off the Chesapeake Bay Bridge tunnel. The bridge part plunged into the water, trying to pass on the narrow roadway that runs from Virginia Beach to Maryland's eastern shore. New Jersey victim identified as Charlotte Thomas of Irvington. The children were 2 young girls and an infant, we're told. And it looks as if the Jersey governor's race is neck and neck right now. The Asbury Park Press says a poll shows Governor Whitman neck and neck with McGreevey, the Democratic opponent. WCBS News Time, 4:36.
Get excited, because YMT Vacations has put together an incredible tour for WCBS listeners to Alaska. That's right, WCBS listeners are going on an Alaska cruise offered by YMT Vacations. The tour specialists, over 1 million travelers in the past 30 years. You leave on May 4th, 1998 for 14 days. Fly to San Francisco, then train up the Pacific coast. In Vancouver, you'll board Holland America's 5-star luxury liner Amsterdam for a fantastic 7-day Alaska cruise. You'll experience the natural beauty of Alaska, stopping in Juneau, Skagway, Ketchikan, and Glacier Bay. After the cruise, explore Idaho, Montana, and Wyoming, including spectacular Yellowstone National Park. All this and more from only $19.99 plus tax. But you have to call for this early bird special now, 1-800-922-9000. Join YMT and WCBS on an adventure through Alaska, plus the Pacific Northwest and Big Sky Country. Plan on Alaska in '98. Call 1-800-922-9000.
Okay, CBS Monday Night Collie Stars, we have a new recruit entering the ranks. Sybil Shepherd, give a salute to Bob Newhart.
Hi, Bobby. Call me Sib.
Ray Romano.
Oh, wow, Bob Newhart.
Bill Cosby. Bill!
Wake up.
I've got Jell-O.
This fall, if it's Monday, it must be CBS. Cosby, Everybody Loves Raymond, Sybil, and George and Leo with Bob Newhart and Judd Hirsch. Welcome home.
WCBS News Time, 4:38. Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on those 8s with Ray Rossi.
And Ed, let's get over to the Hudson River crossings in the wake of the Giant game right now. We're seeing about a 10 to 15-minute wait for the upper level of the George Washington Bridge, averaging 10 minutes we are. Leaving New Jersey into Manhattan at the Lincoln Tunnel. Holland as well, that's about a 10-minute wait. Now, on the outbound side of the Holland, up to 20 minutes is what we had. Operative word there being had. It has eased out nicely. You can shoot the Holland Tunnel from Canal Street. Very slow, though, in Brooklyn on the BQE southbound as you make your way past Cadman Plaza under the Todd Glickman dubbed half tunnel. As you make your way on into the trench, it's going to be a very slow ride, basically southbound 278. You continue over the Verrazano Bridge. That's a decent ride. Out of Bridge and Gothel's, both into and out of Staten Island. At last check, are checking in with minor delays, and the Cross Bronx eased out nicely in the wake of an accident that we had at Jerome Avenue. A pretty decent ride both ways on the Cross Bronx from the interchange right on through Jerome Avenue. Everybody on time at the moment inside the WCBS Transit Center. Todd Glickman's forecast from the WCBS Weather Center.
And the WCBS weekend weather forecast continues with increasing cloudiness this afternoon. A few communities having a late day shower. Temperatures at or a little bit above the 80-degree mark. Considerable cloudiness later tonight. 65 to 70 in town. But up in the Hudson Valley, northwestern New Jersey, interior Connecticut, low 60s by first thing on Labor Day morning. The cloudiness will dissipate Labor Day morning, revealing the sunshine. It'll be a little bit warmer with a high temperature in the mid-80s. Along the south coast of Long Island and Connecticut, you'll find it around 78 or 79 degrees with the southerly wind. Tuesday, increase in cloudiness with highs 80 to 85 degrees.
Todd Glickman in the Weather Center, 79 and partly sunny. And before you step outside, it pays to turn on WCBS News Radio 88 first. We'll give you the weather fast. And we're the only station to give it to you with a guarantee. WCBS News Time, 4:40.
I wanted a red car.
I took an auto loan. I got it at the Independent Savings Bank.
I love my car. Slightly more than Independence.
And red. She wanted green. And green is a nice color ordinarily, but not for a car.
I thought blue was a little too mild. I'm not a mild person.
Car makes the person. It makes young people feel zippy, makes old people feel young.
I fell in love with it. It was so great. It purrs. It doesn't make clanking noises.
Gorgeous. Just like the nice people at Independent Savings Bank.
One thing I always liked about Independence is that they offered great service, and the rates were fantastic.
So I came down here. That was it. They approved me.
They went through delightfully.
I certainly do love my Independence.
Independence now offers a new low annual percentage rate of just 6.50% and a 2-year car loan just 6.50%. Compare and call today at 1-800-732-3434. That's 800-732-3434. Independent Savings Bank, member FDIC, an equal opportunity lender.
Interactive transmission will commence.
Attention carbon units from planet Earth. Your time is running out. Get a Mitsubishi Eclipse now before we return them to our planet for alien amusement. Failure to comply may result in immediate boredom, causing your small round heads to explode. You have been warned.
Transmission complete.
Hurry, time's running out. Get an Eclipse now at your local Mitsubishi Motors dealer.
WCBS News Time, 4:41. Couple of new millionaires maybe in the city. 2 winning tickets for last night's $25 million lotto jackpot, and both of them bought here in the city. After leading the nation in welfare reform for a decade, Wisconsin takes the final step. As of tomorrow, everybody works. State's newest welfare program, called Wisconsin Works, requires all able-bodied adults to work or get job training in exchange for a check, food stamps, medical assistance, or subsidized child care, and it puts a 5-year cap on benefits. On Let's Find Out tonight, a look at a sometimes overlooked candidate in the race from New York mayor.
If you ask Sal Albanese why his campaign has not been getting much airtime or newspaper ink, he points to Ruth Messenger.
I believe that there are some in the media who are intent on reelecting Rudy Giuliani and by propping up who I consider the weakest candidate.
About the mayor's task force approach in the aftermath of the 70th precinct scandal.
It's ridiculous.
Albanese says the city should start with a Mullen Commission report, which suggests an independent monitor for the Internal Affairs Bureau, better screening for cops, and more field supervisors.
Let's start by implementing those suggestions. Let's not waste $15 million to get Rudy Giuliani reelected because he wants to appear as if he's doing something about a problem he hasn't acknowledged.
Albany's adding,
and the untold story is that there are, unfortunately, with the thousands of cops that we hired, there were some ticking time bombs that were placed on the street because we didn't hire properly. I say let's hire less number of cops and do proper screening, proper psychological, so we have the best cops possible.
I'm Rich Lamb, News Radio 88.
Let's find out tonight at 8:30 p.m. on WCBS News Radio 88. Time is 4:43. Now, of all the big sales this Labor Day, the fantastic collection of beds on sale at Charles P. Rogers Brass and Iron Bed Company is worth a special mention. You've seen these beautiful brass and iron beds in the magazines. Find them at Charles P. Rogers, where they've been making beds since 1855. Hundreds of new, original, and restored antique headboards and beds are now at the Rogers Factory showroom in Manhattan and the warehouse in New Jersey. Every bed, beautiful, including the price. Brass, iron, day beds, canopies, even hard to find queen and king size antique beds you can buy direct too, just like an antique dealer or a designer, at Charles P. Rogers Brass and Iron Beds, 899 First Avenue at 51st in Manhattan, or Route 17 Northeast Rutherford, New Jersey. Now through Labor Day, buy direct and save at Charles P. Rogers Brass and Iron Beds, open every day including Labor Day. First Avenue at 51st or 300 Route 17 Northeast Rutherford. 1-800-272-7726 is the number to call for more information. 800-272-7726.
You're listening to WCBS News Radio 88.
79 and partly sunny. 5-day forecast coming up in about 3 minutes. Good evening, I'm Ed Gullo. Quick check on what's happening. Princess Di's body arrives home under overcast skies in Britain. And Mayor Giuliani noted in a statement that Diana was a frequent visitor here to New York and a tireless worker for many charities in our city, very much loved by New Yorkers and will be truly missed. Just ahead, another CBS News update on the Di story. WCBS News Time, 4:45 Sports Time now, sponsored by Geico. One 15-minute phone call to Geico could save you 15% or more on car insurance.